Taunt's going to be out. Seb goes for the TP. They've got the stun to cancel though. Seb held back for now. Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson is running away. Xnova's there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from No-Tails coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in this series that Xnova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the sense on creep to move. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time that he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. Yeah, he sees Ana farming these ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The blood rush silence connects. He's got the man to back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
Just having all this vision. I mean, Xnova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. They're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not going to have vision over here. But no, Xnova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
Alliances turn to ban.
Really clutch pickoffs, and Axe has not spent his money on BKB. He has the money, but he might be looking to save for buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out.
Radiant team back.
Ideally, he doesn't.
Not to go off on another tangent before we even get started and introduce people what we're looking at here, Sidner. But apparently in Arizona, for whatever reason, even though it's the sunniest state, solar panels are not worth it in most cases. Isn't that weird? It's actually less efficient in terms of monetary costs, which I find really weird. But anyway, versus Alliance, best of 3 for the lower bracket of the Beyond Epic League. So loser of this is out of the tournament.
And I think a lot of people, if they haven't really followed this tournament and just tune in for the first time now, and they're like, let's go, oh, it's Alliance versus Viking, that's easy for Alliance. We cast Viking versus Secret, and they looked...
Yep.
Are likely to see 3 games, and Viking is a team that over the last, like, I want to say 1 or 2 months have really have risen to the occasion, and they haven't seemed to struggle a lot with losses, which is something a lot of tier 2 teams make wrong conclusions and then change up things way too much or start having internal issues or whatever. But this roster, they show up, they play their stuff, win or lose, then they do it again or make small changes. But I haven't ever really seen them just go like, they haven't gone through this downward spiral that a lot of teams do, and that's very promising. That means you can go from a lot.
Yeah, I think the mindset behind every respective team is extremely important. And this is why having, like, for Seekers as an example, since we've been casting them a decent amount, having a captain like Puppy that has that experience, somebody to, you know, if you lose a horrible game, he can calm you down or beat you into submission, whatever his style is. I'm not sure these days. But Viking versus Alliance, like we said, it's going to be a Luna Vengeful Spirit opening from Viking, and Alliance immediately picks Quap. Previous pick of yes. So we've seen a decent amount of Luna Venge, and it's been relatively successful. It's kind of an old school combo. Of course, their passives have changed throughout the years, but still picking it again.
I mean, it's kind of, if you think back some months, it's kind of like the auras were swapped, right? Venge used to have an attack damage aura, and now Luna has that one with an armor component, and now Venge has the all stats aura that Luna had, or the primary stat aura that Luna had. So like the auras, when you put the 2 heroes together, the individual hero doesn't have what it used to, but the pairing is pretty similar, and in a lot of cases actually better. Because what was it the old Venge aura capped out at? I think it was 36% damage, and that was all it did. Whereas
sounds about right.
The new Luna aura, when it caps out, gives 30% base damage, but also 30% base armor. So in a later stage in the game, I know which one I would pick, almost always. Like 6% damage or 30% armor? It's not, you know, very difficult to choose. Maybe I'm wrong here about the plot.
That's base armor, right?
Yeah, yes. And the old aura was base damage, right? The 36% on Venge. It was not, or was
it was No,
wasn't it?
I don't
No?
think it was.
Are you positive?
I would be
Either way.
very surprised.
Regardless, the Luna aura is sick, and the Venge aura right now, obviously great. The pairing here, it makes a lot of sense for many reasons. One being that Luna benefits a lot from the minus armor, because the glaives deal more damage to all the targets. She obviously loves getting main attribute, every hero does, so that's not really unique, but the attack range from the aura from Venge is super useful for Luna, who is a short range hero, and one of her biggest limitations as a carry is positioning. It can be really difficult to be in the right spot to get your spells out and get key attacks out, but with Venge on your team you get that extra leeway, and it goes a long way really. Just 125 attack range might not sound like much, but for Luna it's a huge upgrade relatively. Her base attack range is, I don't remember this by heart,
Say 400. That's probably not
330.
right. Wait, what's Monkey King's? Off the top of your head.
I think 250. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
Let me check.
Very close to a
300.
low-ranged 300.
He's 30 less range than Luna, and he's a melee hero.
That
that's
feels
kind of
about
funny.
right, based on my experience with Monkey King.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah. But yeah, you think about that, right? Luna has 330. She gets 125. So for her, it's like almost a 37% increase or something. That's really big.
I'll leave the math to you. So
Yeah, it's
you literally could have said 100 million%. I
yeah.
correct you on that.
That is not surprising.
We are seeing a bunch of zoo characters banned out, even though Treant isn't technically, like we discussed yesterday. That's very important.
Radiant team pick. Alliances.
But Vikings bans are not really, other than the Beastmaster, really. I'm gonna take a clockwork in the second phase here. We've seen this as, well, I don't. I'm pretty sure you can play it as a 5 occasionally, right? But more so the 3 or the 4.
This is my single favorite hero in the game to play against Earthshaker. It feels so incredible because you have a way of finding him in the trees when he has dagger with rocket. You have a super long range catch so that when you see him you can get on top of him, and then once you connect you prevent him from casting Fissure and Enchant Totem. He just can't cast them when you're on top of him as the only target. He can Echo Slam, and that's all he can do. So as long as you get on the Shaker, you negate him. Shaker needs to specifically itemize against this by going Axe or Force Staff, but even when he does that, you can still follow him and be a problem. So against Quap is less great. It's still good, because again, it's a catch for her. You have the hookshot stun into the Cog knockback stun. So like a grand total of, on level 18, I think you can stun her for like about 3 seconds, which is, you know, not a measly amount. But yeah, outside of that, just laning stage 2, right? Shaker can't really pressure lane very much. He's more of a utility repositioner, and you just run at him. You don't care. Like, Witch Doctor. It's great.
The Witch Doctor, and I mean, we talked about the Earthshaker. It was a couple series ago where he actually went Force Staff first, even though he had enough for the purely because of it did not work.
Did not work
at all. It feels like you need both.
Alliances turn
with
to
Voodoo priority still being linked. Necrophos, all right. We get to see some Necro action this time around.
Yeah. So
now you need a Spirit Vessel carrier on Alliance.
You do. Probably. I mean, it's not a necessity, but it would be really nice. Couple of points about this Necro pick. He is really good together with Clockwork, because Necro's biggest weakness is when heroes get on top of him and get to kill him from 100 to 0. But Clockwork is an amazing buffer who can just cog the enemy out. He can run at them and trade with them, and at some point Necrophos can start winning fights relatively easily in that lane together with Clockwork. On top of that, I would say Necrophos is really good against Witch Doctor, because you have Ghost Shroud against the Death Ward, which is a minor thing actually, but the big thing is you gravitate toward healing and healing items against Maledict. And the big burst heal you can give yourself can just offset Maledict's damage, right? Like, let's say you take half your damage, and you half your health and damage, you Ghost Shroud, Mech, and Stick, and you're full HP, Maledict does nothing. So you kind of just cut the damage chain in half, on top of obviously being strong laner. And finally, it's also a really classic hero for Toby to play. So he's very comfortable in this pick. I would say my read on this player is his best heroes are tanky frontliners that buy auras. He's an aura guy, okay? He's an aura guy. He likes Greaves, he likes Pipe, he likes Vlads. So
we're
anything
not
that buys
Radiance
auras
is what you're saying.
I don't think so. No. I don't think they will put it mid, because I don't think the Quap matchup is good anyway. I don't think Necro really wants to play that lane. Unless he has to.
Okay, well, we're going to see AM. I'm trying to remember the last time I've seen AM. I mean, maybe you've watched more games than me, but AM as a fourth
Not popular.
It feels like if you're going to pick it, it's a fifth pick almost every, even like years, other than TI1, which it was first pick. Vector.
And you know what my concern is?
Yeah, what is the point behind it?
He's not good against Necro in lane, in my opinion. I don't actually think this is a good matchup for Anti-Mage. Necrophos gets Ghost Shroud and you can't hit him when you aggress, and he has constant harassment on you. And even if you start burning mana, Necrophos has a natural way of regaining it by getting CS. So in order for Anti-Mage to win a lane against Necro, he either needs to have a support that truly trumps the enemy support, or you need to tri-lane. And in either case, it looks like Viking would be able to solve it by bringing Clockwork plus Venge, or maybe they can't because they have a Luna side lane. But I think Luna could maybe lane against some of Alliance's stuff with a little bit of a head start, like Luna versus Kunkka. I think you can play that 1v1 if you get help the first 2 waves, for example. So I don't see how Necro's that countered here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Well, we'll see. Kunkka is going to be the last pick for Alliance, so Viking get the final pick. Still another minute on the reserve time, so there's no rush here.
Yep.
So is this a Kunkka mid with Quap off lane? Vice versa?
Yeah, one or the other. Hard to say which one. If Luna is against Quap off lane, I think that's a really good argument for doing that as Alliance, is then Luna has a hard time in the 1v1. Quap is very dominant in that lane. But that also exposes you to having Kunkka against Necro mid, which is actually one of Kunkka's worst matchups. He loses that lane hard, and Kunkka loses to almost nothing. So I think that's what Viking are thinking here, is can we somehow counter both Anti-Mage and Kunkka by putting Necro mid and then getting another hero against AM in lane with Clockwork? Still fits our strategy. And then it becomes musical lanes, right? Like, you keep moving your lanes until you get Necro versus Kunkka. They're gonna get Ember. This probably goes mid. No, I mean, Toby will definitely play the Necrophos, but whether they're going to switch up their lanes or not is the question.
Boom.
These are good drafts. We've been talking a lot about Viking here in this drafting phase, mainly because I was a big fan of the Clockwork Necro and they have a stable opener. But as far as Alliance goes, it's obviously not a bad draft. It has key elements. It has the late game potential with AM. It has mid game team fights with Quap and Kunkka. It has pretty good lane supports. To me, it just comes down to every Anti-Mage game basically is, okay, how well can you fight while AM sucks? Are you going to be able to not get run over by Viking? And I'm concerned, but if Alliance manage, this can still end up being a really good AM game. But his laning stage is not great here, and until he has 2 or 3 key items, I don't know if he can actually take the fight. So, a bit tricky for them, but
yeah,
we'll see.
For sure. Okay, so purely lineups. Forget about the teams. We do this every time. What lineup do you actually like more? I'm assuming
I like Vikings more.
Vikings more. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's more so about the early pressure that they can force upon AM, or is it just the fact that there's an AM in the game and you just don't like this hero?
It's a bit of the fact that there's just AM in general, who I don't think is that good. I don't think the pick here is strong enough. I think to pick AM this patch, it needs to be very overwhelmingly good. And to me, this is not the case. We'll obviously see if I get proven wrong on that. But outside of that, their lineup also, like, you have this Quap Kunkka who really want to fight, but then if AM is passive and Shaker doesn't have a dagger, and your 5 is a Witch Doctor who isn't very mobile, I think there's just so much pressure on S4 and Limp to get a lot of stuff done and repel aggression. And they might have to work overtime, and it's very easy to make mistakes then. So, big concern. I mean, I put names on the heroes now, but like, regardless of who the players are, it's still just the hero thing I'm thinking about, not playstyles.
Well, this will be an interesting game 1 of this best of 3 for the lower bracket. Cinder has chosen Viking. Wait, did you actually choose? You just said their line is better.
I think they're going to
2 different discussions, though. Which lineup you like better, and what's going to win?
Yeah,
because they're not always the same.
Absolutely. But yeah, I like Viking.
Prepare for
Sounds good, Cinder. We'll see. Yeah. Right.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Savage. And it was not like a stomp either. It's actual good games. Yeah.
Enigma, that was the one I was missing. So that was another 2-1 though. So yeah, they are taking games off the top dogs, and they're looking good while losing. So that's the sign of a team that has a lot of promise.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. S4 is able to take the bottom outpost for now. FNG might be running into a little bit of trouble, but Armis's boots not quite enough to catch up. So it's going to be for bottom lane, Toby on the Necro, like you mentioned.
The battle begins.
Will this actually be a 1v2? Are they going to switch things up? Because it looks like Nico Baby's starting in the bot lane on the AM. With the ES close by.
I'm trying to think about what Alliance accomplished with this. If they play Shaker AM bot, I would feel pretty good about playing Necro into that 1v2. That's a great 1v2 lane for Necro, because like, let's say it was Witch Doctor AM, then Witch Doctor could bully this Necro really hard, but Shaker is literally just a Fissure. So if the Fissure doesn't block Toby off completely, he has a lot of room to move. Yeah, there you go. There's the Witch Doctor TPs. Fame that Witch Doctor is top, he TPs bottom, and now Viking are going to realize what's going on here, and now they have a choice to make. How much do we help Toby? He's actually dead now.
Yeah, Cask is coming, I believe. Fissure first. They don't even need it. Just the body blocks are more than enough. He's going to pop the Fairy Fire as well, despite being multiple times over, it felt like. So first blood.
I could die to Witch Doctor instead of AM.
I mean, Witch Doctor can become a carry, Cinder. I don't know if you've seen it before. The Rush Ags.
I don't really play in that bracket, Shannon. I can't relate.
Why do you need to always say something negative about me?
Why do you need to always say something stupid?
Carry Witch Doctor, Cinder, and you're saying you've never seen that. Even as a support,
I've seen
carry in the game.
That's not what carry means.
Oh boy,
no,
he might be dead again.
My God.
TPs are coming. Super dead. This time it does go to Nico Baby. And he does not have a TP either. He has to have the walk of shame all the way back in the bot lane.
That is real bad. Like, you just got killed the exact same way twice without making any adjustments. You didn't play at a distance. He was in XP range at his tower, but he got greedy to try to get CS. And considering neither Witch Doctor nor Shaker had shown yet in other lanes or making moves around the map, he has to assume they're still there.
All right, I think it's time to switch up positions. This is going to be a position 3 Clockwork and position 4 Necro. Agreed? Is there any time in Dota where that is actually a thing, Syndra?
Where somebody has such a bad start that you demote them?
Yes.
Yeah,
like
it happens. I do think that happens, yeah. I do think sometimes it's the best strategy. As long as the hero that gets promoted can perform enough in the game from a strategic standpoint that it can use the farm well enough. Sometimes it's necessary. We're not at that state here, though. I think, especially now that Shaker has rotated off, Toby's back to the lane getting level 2, and Clockwork's here now with almost level 3. That's a nasty hero to play Witch Doctor against in lane, by the way. You get caught, you're in trouble.
I'm keeping. There's going to be another cast in the bot lane. Maledict will follow, but he gets the Ghost Shroud off.
He's skilled at level 2.
Fine. That's maybe not what you want, but it's what you need to survive.
Yeah, I think it's okay. He has loads of regen because he, just died twice, so he didn't get to use any of it.
So lane. Oh, they don't layer the stuns very well, but ES is here with the Fissure. Just make sure they know he is here. Bot lane again, Toby getting completely drained of mana. Okay. And that is another kill for Nico Baby. That's 3 deaths for your Necro early on. Is this enough for your demotions?
This is a really good start for Alliance. I did not I did not think this could go this well for them in the early laning stage, and after seeing it happen, I don't think it should. But that's how it goes sometimes. They take an opportunity, they see the chance to do it, and it works out. They pulled it off wonderfully here. Now even going to Aram is the perfect cast bounce.
Maledict is still there, and he will tick away. So that is a second kill for FNG now. So each respective hero in this lane has 2 kills to their name. So they're very happy about that. Handskin was looking for something at the top lane, but not able to find it in the end. Before we get back to the bottom lane, which just sounds like there's just going to be kills over and over, we can talk about mid very briefly here. as Artemis is actually TP to potentially get this gank onto Limp. But looking at the CS, Limp with 21-9 versus the Embers 18-5, so relatively even overall. They've both been at very low HP throughout this laning stage thus far, which I guess should be expected considering the heroes that they're playing. But what do you think of that lane in general? The Ember versus Kunkka. Does it favor?
I think it's a pretty clearly Kunkka favored lane. And Limp is a laning expert. I would say it's perhaps his biggest strength in Dota. I think at one point it was, how to say it, relative to the rest of his skills, it was a bigger part, but I think he's improved a lot in terms of like decision making mid-game, rotations, knowing what his timing is, what to do. But he has always been a really good laner, and now the rest of his game is just kind of caught up to that. You can see he has a big lead here as well. 400 net worth, minute 5 mid with no kills is substantial.
And it should grow as he can just go to the jungle after pushing out the wave continually. That's what he actually wants to do. Level 5.5 right now versus Boom's just level 5, so a half level advantage overall. And if we continue to look at the net worth, AM is on top, which shouldn't be too big of a surprise considering actually doing decent in the top lane. As we can see the Lucent Beam onto S4. Along with the Magic Missile, Shad attempting to run out, but the fissure was blocked for quite a while. Looks like no kills will come of this, but a lot of harassment damage both ways.
I actually think Shad could have manned up there instead of backing down. I think he could have just stayed on top of the Queen, forced her to blink away. He had 19 sticks. There's no way he dies there.
Toby is in a lot of trouble again. Pops the Ghost Shroud. Completely mana drained again. And again, a kill. Feels like a broken record here in the bottom lane. So
don't you just love when you build up a player and you're like, this is one of his best heroes, this is his favorite playstyle, and then he goes 0-4 in 6 minutes? It's just great. It makes you look like you really know what you're talking about, you know?
Well, it's Dota. You never know what...
Everybody has bad games and tough starts, and it's about dealing with it. But obviously Alliance should be very happy right now. Their win condition is doing awesome. Their mid lane is winning. S4 is doing fine. He's not owning, but I don't think he can expect to against this dual lane with a Shaker support. But overall, the pieces are coming together nicely. It's still less than a 1.
We're gonna have the boat, Cinder Man. It does hit Boom.
It's fine. Nope.
Oh!
Range creep.
Oh! He was fine, Cinder said, and he died literally half a second later.
He was not fine.
Curse is true to its word. FNG in the bot lane now, getting chased by Aramis. So finally a kill going the way of Viking.
Yeah.
It's going to take some heavy damage with that Maledict, but we'll live. Yeah. Very, very bad overall, though. I mean, we can talk about the item timings here. Nico Baby has the Ring of Health, and obviously going for the Battle Fury. Has there ever been a time where Battle Fury was not a thing on AM? Like, even back to Dota 1? Was there a brief time where... Oh my god, okay, well, Fissure's going to take out Venge in the top lane.
There was a time in Dota 2, actually, where the common build for a short while was Vanguard Manta.
Ugh. Oh yeah, I actually do remember that. And at some point, people were going Vlad's as well, but I think they went Battle.
Yeah, Vanguard Manta or Vlad's Manta. I think both things happened for a short amount of time. Did it before you were born?
Yeah.
Back in the good old highlight games of the 60s.
Back when I was a Counter-Strike professional player, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, in my dreams. Top lane, Venge does TP back. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to find a kill here unless maybe a level 6 from Shad comes in. As a
Look at what Limp is doing, by the way. He's identifying in this matchup how much stronger he is than the Ember. So he's actually chasing him in the jungle instead of
bottom lane. Okay. Speaking of getting chased, FNG is going to take a death pulse. It's not going to be enough for the kill, though. The counter ult from Nico Baby, not enough to actually do much damage to the Necro, but no deaths either way.
Consider Toby is 0-4. He has more net worth than the Queen of Pain, and he has the same experience almost. This is after being killed 4 times. So, like, when you look at the scoreline, the state of the game is not that awful. Actually, the biggest loss for Viking is in the mid lane at this point, relatively speaking. Being, what's that, 1,000 net worth behind Kunkka is the entirety of Alliance's lead. And what Limp is doing so well is he's playing the strength in the early laning stage where he's ahead, pressuring, and then he uses that advantage to not only get a solo kill, but then start chasing Ember in the jungle, because he knows, if I was Ember here, what would I do? Like, what are my options? the moment I show in mid, I want to just push out the wave and then go and farm side camp. Well, guess what? I'm just going to run at you and fight you at side camp, and then we can let the creeps in the middle fight each other. I don't care if you don't get anything, because I'm going to steal your farm, and if I bully you away, I'll go back to mid and take that too. So... He's basically losing net worth, but he's losing less than the Ember, and that's a really good aggressive mindset in a lot of games. That's a very standout game to me that I remember from TI, which is way more extreme because it was with Alchemist. But I think it was maybe was playing Ursa against someone's Alchemist. I don't remember who. And so Male had a different, had a similar game where he was tiny against Alchemist, and they would literally just not care about the creeps in lane. They would run after the Alchemist, just let the mid wave die to the other mid wave. And all they did was hunt this guy that they knew they were stronger than to make him miss his timing, even if it cost them their own. That's good stuff. Oh no, Limp. Not going to be seeing this one coming.
Yeah, he's being surrounded right now. Inside Cogs does hit the Torrent, and Ghost Ship is on its way. See if this is enough. FNG is here to help out as well. The cast will not bounce more than once. Doesn't look like the Courier will fall. Limp continuing to get buffed with this ship. It's about to end now, so he's going to tick down. But FNG, it will cost him his life. X marks onto the Ember. Limp has to be careful though. Another Cogs into battery assault, and down he goes. So great transition here. And
that was a big play from Aramis. He set up both of those kills with one move. FNG was just coming in to help, and then they got an extra casualty. Only because Limp wanted to X-mark there. He got to run away. He knew he was safe, but wanted to
for sure
run Ember, and it cost him his life, so... Taking advantage of it.
Lane,
They're pressuring top tower a lot.
There,
Handskin is here with a fissure. They do have Sonic. He's level... When do you get Sonic Wave? Is it 8 or 9 these days?
Usually 6.
Oh, you do get it at 6. Okay.
He has an empty skill. He has an unspent skill point, so he could skill it right now if he wants.
Oh, there's the Eclipse. The creep wave is going to tank a bit of it, but the damage has been done. So Viking, another kill to their name. So, like you were attesting to, despite the feeding efforts of Toby here in the bot lane, they are not panicking, Cinder. They're methodically going about this game, and they have come back into it. And in fact, have a slight lead at this point in terms of the net worth. Toby's going to run into Nico Baby though. A lot of mana drained as a result. It does have the mana void available, but it is only level 1. It's somewhat weak.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Actually,
Toby bought the mana boots.
Not too long ago.
He's bought the arcane boots, so he's going Greaves and...
Top lane, Cinderman.
Oh
shit. Dies, and a tier 1 tower. Continue your thought process, please.
Yeah, so this is a lineup for Greaves, right? You buy the arcane boots on Necrophos basically exclusively when you want to go for Greaves. And then it's just a high value item like, oh, they're going to go and accelerate.
If he ever gets the Greaves, if he dies here again. Mana void, nice swap though. The boat would have done heavy damage. I think he would have lived either way. Sharing the damage. Sharing is caring when you're teammates. Mid lane, we had the fissure come out. Echo Slam still available. Trying to defend this tier 1 tower. Yeah, Chains completely misses there. Limp is back in action. He's actually going for a BKB first. Very interesting. What do you think of that?
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Is it so that they can fight and create as much space for AM to just farm?
Yeah, exactly. They need to have value items when Viking hit their timing, right? Like Luna and Necro and Ember, tons of magic damage, want to run at you, take team fights, and you know you're going to have this dead weight in AM for a while. Any high impact item to bridge the gap between, say, minute 15 to 30 is really important. And I think the BKB is a solid choice. I'm not fully confident that this is the best item he could buy. But there's a very good reasoning for doing it, at least. Bottom lane, Toby.
Oh yeah, he looks to be...
hook shot.
Yeah, Aramis with a nice hook shot onto the ES. You're seeing how hard that counters a hero. He's just stuck inside. And Toby will live as a result of this rotation. Maybe a little bit of an over-rotation, though. They acquired 2 TPs. The Ember Spear's not kind of stuck down here. S4 taking heavy damage in the top lane in the meantime. Magic Missile not quite there, but the swap into the Magic Missile, Lucent Beam combo. And Viking looking very good now.
Why did he not blink into the trees? He actually tried to over-blink the Venge, who was showing to him for a while. I'm not sure if he was just not aware of how...
They did have Wave of Terror still, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I still thought he would maybe be able to find a spot in the trees and at least take the chance, right? Because this just felt like doom.
Bottom lane, Mana Void doing a hell of a lot of damage, but Nico Baby now stuck inside the cogs will blink to safety.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I actually don't remember when they buffed his ult, because I remember it being 0.4 damage per mana point missing. Now it's 0.8 at level 1. That's literally double what it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, I think the last worst version was 0.65 on level 1, and that's a while ago. It's been a long time. Oh, Toby's in trouble. He does a gold shot again.
He does, but the boat's going to do extra damage now. Death Ward to follow once it's done.
That's enough.
And it will be enough. Hookshot a little bit too late, but it might be a kill here either way for the Clockwork, so they get something out of it at least. It's a 1-for-1, but definitely in favor of Alliance there. Tier 1 tower being pressured, but Ember Spirit. Now, you were talking about the Spirit Vessel not being required against Necro. Why is, I mean, obviously they're owning him without it right now, but is it really not like an actual requirement?
It's clearly very, very good, right?
Passive now that has some effect, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course it's good. I'm not going to say it's not good. It clearly is. But let's look at the draft, right, from Alliance. The only hero that can buy it this game is the Kunkka, and I wouldn't really be mad at that. I think that would be fine. But you have to remember what the trade-off is, right? It means if you buy this vessel, you're way weaker defensively. It's just basically an offensive item, right? Like, yes, it gives health, but compare it to, say, a BKB that allows you to play your hero freely in fights, or some sort of big strength item that beefs you up, it falls short of that. So when you buy a vessel that specifically counters only one hero, I think it needs to counter him at the right timing, so that when you get this vessel, a big play happens on the map that really cements your lead or gets you a lead. And I think a lot of the time people just buy vessel because, oh, there's a hero in the enemy team that vessel counters. But I don't think it's that black and white.
That is what I do.
It's not always that simple, I think. Like in games where it counters, say, 2 or 3 heroes, it's way easier to convince yourself to buy it. But here, I actually don't disagree with their choice of not buying it, as crazy as that might sound against the Necro.
Speaking of the Necro, he is about to get overwhelmed here, potentially. 4 heroes for Alliance.
Double Bracer.
Going to be
really beefed up
pretty soon as well.
Bounty.
Playing this pretty well. They see him now with this offensive ward from FNG. And sounded like a blink from AM. I guess he blinked away. He saw that Cellar was incoming. Torrent will connect into the fissure, into the boat, into death. So Alliance do get something out of it, not the Necro that they so prized. I mean, he's 0-5 with 5k net worth, which is pretty close to the mid Kunkka. Kunkka has fallen off horribly. What happened? He only died once. Build? Yeah. That's not really amplifying his farming capabilities?
It's also that he's probably, he's making moves in the game because he feels like he has to, right? That's the strategy. It requires him to take initiative, because who else is going to do it, right? Like, Shake a Witch Doctor, Shake without Dagger, pretty limited options. He needs to have a core to play with. So the Kunkka has to get involved a lot, and that obviously costs on the farm account. Ember has successfully overtaken him on CS and has 2 kills to his name, whereas Kunkka, well, actually they have the same score. They have 2-1-1.
So do you think that's more of a drafting thing then, that he feels the need that he has to do that despite having that pretty big lead early on? He wasn't able to actually snowball that at all. Now, like I said, it's just reverse fortunes, not.
I think it's good that he's making moves, but I can't help but feel like Alliance haven't brought the correct number of heroes when they've made moves.
Ghost Shroud is there, but here's a counter initiation from Aramis. Not able to really hit the hookshot though. Wave of Terror shows that Witch Doctor's in the tree. Sonic Wave onto 3 heroes. Death Ward to follow. Vengeful Spirit's taking the brunt of the damage. Necro ult not quite enough to take out S4. As there is now an Echo Slam onto the Soul Ember Spirit, who goes very aggro onto S4, but not enough to get the kill still. 0 kills in this fight somehow. And here they start to fall. So Witch Doctor's the first. Nice swap there for Toby to stay alive. Magic Missile. Not enough to really do any heavy damage to Limp. So it's a 1-for-1, a Witch Doctor for an Ember. Both teams do as much as they can to stay alive.
Yeah. There are quite a bit of missed spells there. But Alliance do come out victorious. Slightly. It wasn't a big win. They used a lot of spells for that. They used all their ultis. But they do trade core for support. However, if they end up losing this tower now, then it's not that great. And it does seem like a possibility. Use your damn shovel, Shad. Find some treasure.
Please. Please shovel. God,
Radiant's
please.
middle tower is under attack.
That used to be the most busted neutral item, funnily enough.
It is still very good. But yes, it used to be
busted though.
No, I agree. It's good.
Do you think
Considering-
that the neutral items right now are very balanced?
Loyal warrior.
I don't know, I feel like it's so hard to wrap your head around, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. I think
some
it's
of it's
hard
game
to gauge.
dependent.
Like, the best metric you have is win rate
Radiant's middle tower is under
for the
attack.
individual item being found, right? But there's so many combinations. Like, if you find this item together with something else, or you find it when you're playing this exact hero. Like, let's say an item like Essence Ring, the old Essence Ring. Let's say it had a win rate of 53%. You'd be like, that's pretty balanced. But then its win rate on IO was 80. Is it a balanced item then, right? Like, if that's how it was, like, just to put it on edge.
Yeah. No, that's true.
It's hard to really quantify easily, I think. You can't just flat out look at win rates. Handskin's dead.
Earthshaker.
Oh, they don't have Reaper. This
Yeah,
one.
Reaper's up in 2 seconds, so he is in range now. There we go. That's gonna be the first Reaper kill of the
Radiant's top
the
tower
day.
is under
Pretty far from Dagger. It's 19 minutes in. He has 1,000 to go. Viking are hitting all of the timings right now of their lineup. They're gonna start running at more and more tower, while
Radiant's
AM
top tower is
has to
under
keep
attack.
working on that Battle Fury. Here by Luna TP, so oh, Aramis.
Yeah, hook shot in. They know that somebody
Good
can
hook.
beat out already, so this is going to be an easy kill on the Witch Doctor. See if they can turn this around on the Blimp as well. S4 does have Sonic Wave available. It's going to scram first into the Sonic onto 2. Toby is super healthy, though. BKB pop from Limp. That is the 10-second one. And it feels like it was used for almost... Oh, okay, Mana Void. That is definitely enough to kill the old Clockwork.
Pretty good outcome for Alliance. They obviously take advantage of Nico Baby's split push. Seeing the Luna TP allows Nico to connect bot and give them a 5v4 fight. Trading 1-for-1. It's not great. I mean, you got Clock for Witch Doctor, but at least the Clockwork had a kill streak. So a lot of gold going to Nico Baby there. 340 makes his rotation worthwhile instead of just farming a camp. But only just narrowly, right? Considering how fast AM can farm right now.
Yeah, true.
But it's still good for him, of course.
I mean,
Still,
Nico Baby
Luna is
does have
ahead,
Battle
though.
Fury Luna. What's that?
Luna's still ahead on net worth. Like, think about that for a second. This AM had free farm in lane, got 3 kills,
Yeah, that's true.
and has just been able to rotate around, and he is still matched. This Luna hero is really good right now.
So it's
Very good. Reason it's banned a lot in top tier Dota.
Boom, very close to finishing the Desolator, just finishing up the Blightstone, so we'll be done with that in the next camp or so.
Toby has Greaves, bottom. Now he can...
Sure does.
What can you remove? Shadow Strike, the Vessel that they don't have. That was
Oh, you
pretty
can't
much
remove
it.
the passive aspect of the Vessel, Synderen. Just remember.
Yeah, that's true.
Although, how does that work with BKB? I assume it does not do anything.
It does not pierce BKB.
Yeah. Another reason to buy Vessel. I mean, I understand that it feels awkward to sometimes buy it. Depending
Wait, why is another reason to buy it that it doesn't pierce BKB?
Because... Oh, you're saying it does not...
It does
the
not.
amplification does not work?
Correct. I believe the aura doesn't work on BKB heroes, or any magic immunity for that matter.
Okay, well...
I think?
Do you think Necro's gonna buy a BKB?
No.
Okay.
I think he's going to buy Pipe, because it's Toby, and Toby buy aura.
Buy Aura, please. What other Aura does he get after that, Synderen?
He even found another shawl. I don't know if you mentioned that, but what a
Oh,
god
that's
tier
nice.
item this game. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Dude, that feels like one of those, it's either not useful at all on your team, because you have nobody that can really use it, or it's just god tier.
Yeah, and imagine that item has 50% win rate. But then it's like, just because in some games it's insane and other games it's terrible, like, is that good? Maybe it is. It depends what you're going for, right?
Sure.
At the very least, it's a very interesting item. I like the concept of it. Of like, you lose something to gain something else. I like that idea.
Like my career.
Oh my god.
Gonna dodge the... might not be enough, though. It gets swapped out by Celery, so Celery might die as a result. Doesn't look like
Oh,
that's
this
the
can
case,
get
though.
really bad for Alliance. If Hookshot was there, coming in on the Shaker, that could have been terrible. But they at least get out a lot.
Boom, with the very fast slide of Fist Fingers. That
Yes, that
pretty
was
impressive.
quick. He dodged the fissure, right? I think that's what happened.
Yeah, dodged the fissure, then ended up getting hit by... But,
Yeah, but got swapped for that.
indeed.
That opens up for Roche. They know there's no
Middle
boat.
tower is under attack.
They have all their
got the
stuff. They're
Vessel.
super strong together. They hit the timing
BKB
with...
now online.
Yeah.
Shad.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's gonna be a freebie. It does cost them their 2-1 tower. Hanskin just goes, slaps in the...
It's about the best trade Alliance could have hoped for here. They would not have won a fight for
as well.
Radiant's bottom tower
Yeah, for
has
sure.
fallen.
Not bad. That's a good play call from Alliance here. To
Can't, I mean, I think they've shown the Blink Dagger, I believe, on Hanskin, so it's not going to be a big surprise now.
yeah.
Of course, they probably were expecting at this stage, a little later than you would like. Nico Baby pops the Manta style to take off Searing Chains. Looks like he's going to run away now. So he's going for a Scotty next, so that's an item we didn't
Radiant's
mention.
top tower is under attack.
Good against...
Healing reduction.
Yeah, the healing reduction for Necro, which... I don't know how massive... What percentage is it? It's like...
35, right?
Okay, so it actually is pretty ginormous. That's nice.
Or am I wrong?
Finally seeing it, Cinder. We talked about it so much before.
Is under attack.
Yeah, it's really good this game because it has multiple things going for it. The one thing is the healing reduction against Necro, which is nice, but it's also a way for AM to stay on top of Luna. The move to be slow is important for him to be able to lock her down. Alternatively, you could have got something like an Abyssal or Butterfly, but again, the added benefit is the counter to Necro and the health tool, so you don't get Reaper.
Lane, Lim, he's gonna pop his ult. He's gonna get swapped with the BKB active, and he's gonna be brought down very easily. In fact, they're gonna use the Reaper on him just for that extra death timer. 75
Obi
seconds.
presses the fuck you button.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that is at least a good wave cut from Nico. He cut the mid wave, so Viking are not going to be able to go high ground with this. If not, they might have actually tried. But
Getting relatively close to this Scotty as well, so he's... I mean, is there a point in the game where they just can't handle anti-mage? Or do they have the heroes to deal with him when it gets to the late game?
oh wait, what was that?
Witch
Just got
Doctor's
soloed
dead.
by Luna. Okay. No, Bench was there, I think. Okay. So can AM overpower this game? Yes, he can, but I think he can theoretically, but not if this is the trajectory of the game. I think he needs more of a lead. He doesn't even have a lead against Luna still. I think AM is the kind of carry who usually faster than anybody else, but what balances it out is that he needs it to be strong. The hero needs multiple items
Is under attack.
to really pack a punch, and he's having a good game, Nico. It's not that.
Lane
This is
Fissure
a good
into
kill.
death. Yeah, good combo here. Mana Void was expended. That is a level 3 Mana Void. He's not level 20, so definitely getting the levels out of this.
Yeah,
Scotty
nicely
should be
done.
done soon. I would expect... I mean, much... I was gonna say, I don't know how much value Butterfly has in terms of the evasion aspect, but Abyss will probably be the next item, I would imagine.
Looking twice at the lineups, maybe I'm slightly underestimating how much AM can do in this game, just because the enemy team doesn't have good single target carries, right? There's no like PA or a Deso carrier. Ember has a Deso, but it's not the same as somebody who hits you over and over and uses the minus armor to really truly kill you. But it's Deso plus Venge plus Luna Aura plus Dominator, right? Like all of it adds up, and it might still be too overpowering. But if AM gets Scotty plus Butter, maybe there is a timing where he is a true threat to Viking. But for now, I don't think he can teamfight still. I think if he jumps in, he's going to get mauled.
Do you think once he has the Scotty, that's enough HP to be able to start fighting?
I think he needs +1 items still.
Does he need to go BKB this game?
Dire's top tower.
Is that too much in terms of...
I think it's too much. I think he has to deal. His team doesn't have enough damage that he can have the luxury of going BKB now, I think. He's still doing it though. I don't know if that's going to be the right choice. Yeah. I'm not sold.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I get why you want to do this here, and maybe you feel like you need it to be able to stand and fight. And when he gets the BKB, by all means, he can go in and fight, because then he's not countered. But then I just don't know if he's going to kill them during that BKB. He hits for 240 now, which might sound great, but Luna has 30 armor. And he gives everybody else armor. And he's getting evasion now. The butterfly for Luna is complete. I think AM just actually flat out loses a man fight to Luna right now. I actually think he can't fight him. They both run in or blink in, use Manta. I think Luna wins.
So what
Pretty
would you go
heavily,
then?
even.
Like, would it be Abyssal? I mean, now that the evasion's online for... I mean, you don't buy MKB on this hero. very special circumstance.
Maybe he's going BKB Rapier, and he hopes that the BKB can buy him enough time to get to the Rapier, and that's how you get the true strike. That's probably what he's going to end up having to do in this game. But I mean, Alliance
This is the time where Viking will probably just team up here. Live to get these towers.
Yeah, but Nico's doing a great job splitting. This is what he needs to do. Always keep them on their toes to get back to defend.
Yep, the joys of AM, as Luna will lose the Aegis now.
Alliance very clearly playing split push style. There's a very clear strategic call of how we need to play this game. We are avoiding them at all costs, and if they ever split up, we can try to take an opening like the one they took with Shaker and AM bot. That's the way you play the map here. And you can even see it in the warding, right? Alliance has a very deep ward bottom because they want to see a hero move out alone to start pushing waves. They have a deep ward top. Not as deep, but it's still, it's a lane ward. So some pretty clear tell of what their view is on the game right now.
Interesting.
They're going to go for a ballsy play here.
I believe, I can't see the rest of his items, I believe it's a Shadow Blade instead of a Force Staff, so we'll see how that works out.
It's another good way of dealing with Clock. Then he can't see you to hook you and rocket you, obviously.
I mean, that's assuming that he doesn't have Dust or Sentry.
Under attack.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think about how fights usually break out at this point in the game, the goal for Shaker is to be able to Shadow Blade into decent range. He doesn't need to come very close. He just needs to be in blink range so that he can blink in an echo. Whereas if he didn't have that and he walks through a ward, he's going to get rocketed, and then his opportunity is gone. So I kind of like the Shadow Blade, actually. It's good. Both that and Force I would have been happy with.
As for running into Accelerate, gonna activate
forward.
Toby's here though.
So
They're gonna use BKB is available for Boom. Necro ult is not enough to actually get the kill, but he actually will blink out to safety. No, Ember ends up finishing him off the old-fashioned way, and with that, Alliance is likely going to fall back here.
I don't know about that blink, man. That was not.
We
not
do have vision, Cinderin. They do not, but yeah, that was aggressive.
Again, this is always going to be I mean, people talk about caster's curse when we say somebody's doing something great and then they fail. The true caster curse is that we can see the whole map, actually. No matter what, we're always going to be presenting the game in a way that isn't truly what the players are experiencing, right? Because we see both fogs. So yeah, to us this looks stupid. Obviously S4 didn't have full vision of the area. He might have had a different read on who was present and who wasn't. But even with the info he had and his vision, I feel like that was a high risk. If you step away from what happened for a moment and just look at the map, right? That was a very dangerous play.
Yeah, it's one of those you run to somebody in the jungle and you're like, oh my god, I want this kill so bad. Blink into and it's very unfortunate for him.
He definitely did not expect that many heroes to be there, because if he did, he would have never done that. Yep. So got surprised by how ready Viking were and how cohesively they're playing.
I am just shocked that Limp still really doesn't have anything. He's all defensive. He has the plate mail, obviously going for AC right now. But yeah. I can't remember the last time I've seen a Kunkka just start off so well and then just not have much impact on the game.
That's true. BKB is online on Nico now, by the way. They broke it with Slight. Okay. Also in the game to break smoke.
Has a Titan sliver as well.
Might want to try to jump in here. Celery is in a really good position though. Boom can actually flat out bait this, and so can Shad.
Necros, the Echo Slam to follow the...
Oh, they got him still.
Going to be enough to actually save him. Mana Void finishes him off, but he's going to buy back into the game. Still has the Eclipse, of course. AM jumps in with that BKB. Looks like he's going to take out the Vengeful Spirit. Hook shot to follow. Nico Baby trying to run away now. It's this very important, considering the buybacks came out. A nice fissure there from Handskin. Blocking the neutral creeps.
I'm so surprised Shad died there, actually. Celery was a little bit slow on the swap, so Shad took some extra damage and then the Sonic came through, but even with that, AM must have hit a lot of attacks in a row there. Alright, nice play from Alliance. I didn't think that was going to work out because Viking looked so ready for it, but they underestimated the damage.
Super, I mean, what level is he right now?
Yeah, it was not a long-range swap either. But he was in the trees, so he couldn't, if he was on max range, he would have dodged the Sonic Wave, and then Luna would have lived. The Sonic dealing damage there was important. Nice move from Alliance, though. That's really big. That is kind of pulling the game back to even suddenly. AM is now finally far ahead. Luna bought back there. It's expensive.
Yeah, that is true. Is there a reason Toby doesn't finish the pipe? Looks like he's going for the Aeon disc.
he might feel like it's run its course. There's BKB on Ember and Luna, so during that they don't need the pipe. And instead he's going to just get the hood for his own sake, so he gets tanky, and then he will enable his teammates in other ways. Aeon is also an item just for yourself, but it's more of a team item in the sense that, you know, if you get jumped, you can still contribute because you break out, whereas if you had a pipe and you get jumped, you die. So this way he can guarantee that he can have Ghost Shroud come off and eventually get a Reaper.
AC is now officially finished now. Onto Limp. How much that will help with these pushes. The minus armor on the towers will be especially helpful, of course. I mean, they don't really have a 5-man lineup. I feel like AM is going to be kind of just doing his own thing for the most part, split pushing and keeping Vikings, I guess, on their toes is probably the best way to put it. I mean, if they can get this Luna kill in the next few minutes without this buyback available, they can definitely do some damage to these buildings.
Yep. Nico going.
It looks like Abyssal will be the next choice for Nico Baby.
And then it's Rapier time. It has to be, right? That's got to be his last item, and he would ideally like to have it with an Aegis.
Yeah, most likely.
But yeah. I think it inspires some confidence in Alliance that they just got this fight mid. It's a really big deal that they see that they can kill the Luna like this, and they force a buyback. He might have itemized differently if that didn't happen. Possibly. It's not for sure. Oh, S4's in trouble here. Maybe. Yep, he's in trouble.
They have a swap. I don't believe it looks like. It's going to be the magic missile into the hook shot.
Just look at Toby walking towards AM as Necro. Gives you a shit, man.
Alliance.
Like, I am this. I don't know about this one, Hanskin.
He's going to use his Shadow Blade. He actually uses Echo Slam to very little effect. It does activate the Aeon disc.
I think he didn't know there was a disc. I think he genuinely didn't know. That is a non-play. That is absolutely a non-play. And that opens up Rogue.
Yeah.
Viking again.
They don't have Echo Slam. I mean, they have the Ghost Ship as well as Sonic Wave, so they could technically still fight, but it is 4v5. Necro units coming in to scout things out. It's about at half HP. This is the Aegis and Cheese on the line. Nico Baby opens up his wand slot to be able to take the Aegis Sonic Wave. I'm sure Mana Boy to follow as well. Vengeful Spirit's going to be the first to fall. Toby at half HP, but staying alive right now. FNG having a nice Death Ward. Full channel time right now. As the buyback onto the Vengeful Spirit. Now Roshan only with 1200 HP. And here comes the Eclipse with the BKBs activated. Nico Baby jumps in. Reaper Cyclone. FNG's not quite enough. But it looks like the Aegis was taken by Shad, who dies immediately, so it gets consumed. See if they can turn this back around, though. Boom. Getting Enchant Totem by Hanskin. In the meantime, Shad going 1v1 versus Nico Baby, who eats the cheese. Apparently, he picked it up. That'll be enough for them to
good chains.
Even things out. But triple kill for Boom now on the backside here in the mid lane.
That
nice
actually didn't even look good for Viking when they made that initiation with the 4-step Witch Doctor plus AM blinking in. That was very nice from Alliance. The big difference maker is Luna with the faster fingers getting the Aegis. If she doesn't get Aegis there, that's a total travesty. They get team wiped, Luna won't have buyback, and the game will likely just slip away from them. But now they're suddenly charging down mid with a double damage Luna. She hits for 607. Look at these racks when this tower falls.
Yes, that's quite tasty. Kunkka does have buyback, Quap does not. ES also, but he'll be back very soon.
Let's
Echo
look at the
Slam
rest.
is up in 10 seconds, Cinderin.
Oh,
Aramis
my
might get taken down. But yeah, these racks are melting, and they're just going to go for the throne.
They're forcing buyback here minimum.
Absolutely.
Kunkka has
They're
to
going to get tier 4s. Buyback onto the Kunkka.
Yo, are they actually just in?
The potential last stand for Alliance right now. FNG gets a nice cast up. He's getting decimated. Luna in the meantime getting swapped. Pops the BKB. Now finally starting to right-click Nico Baby, who jumps in for the kill on the Vengeful Spirit. Mana Void is not enough to actually secure himself a kill. And it looks like that's the death of AM, who buys back into the game immediately. The buildings are being hit by Luna, but there's the counter Echo Slam off to 2 heroes. Nico Baby still with no Mana Void. Just used it recently. Limp extremely low on the Kunkka. Sonic Wave to follow. This might be a defense for Alliance. 2 buybacks available as well. Shad, though, huge hookshot from Aramis. And Shad doing just massive damage. And it looks like they will be able to finish off this game 1 in style. Wow, what an ending.
Man. When you just saw it, I had this feeling, should I say, can they throne before they even kill the tier 3 tower?
instead on OG. It'll be a slow and painful death here if we don't tell. As Arme comes in for the kill secure.
And I love the way that Chalice popped his BKB super early in that fight. So I just need to get my ulti off. And he casts it at a very safe range. He didn't wait for like the last second of his BKB. He's not very greedy. I think that's a lot of the reason why they've been winning these team fights. Seb has been struggling, still about 1,000 gold away from his BKB.
Yeah, this Brewmaster is a display of perfection, really. It's the highest level in the game with his Bloodseekers.
And doing a ton of damage in the fight. One of the most damage in the game as an offlaner.
Now has full Shiva, so even more ways. He's pretty much itemized entirely just to be like, Ana, I'm ruining your game. I've got Radiance, I've got Shivas. You're gonna struggle so much in these fights as Phantom Lancer.
Eric's did his best to keep Ana alive, but Ana wasn't able to do damage because of his rupture. He wasn't that low on HP, but still can't run around.
Seb.
Oh, Ame's gonna think this here.
Gotta
Watch
be careful who
Jerax.
shows up top. Indeed, Jerax. He's going out on his own. He doesn't expect Arme to have this invis rune. As Arme will show himself, Jerax goes across, but Somnus is there.
Somnus not messing around rupture.
No mercy. They're feeling very confident now at this point, getting these very advantageous team fights as well as getting kills on the split push too. Thompson though, we'll find X-Nova.
Seb, and as well, between the two of them, they'll take down the support edge. FY's going to come in though. He hasn't got anyone else with him at the moment. It is just FY, so just playing around with Seb.
He's no help around at all, and he's still just making Seb's life miserable.
He is toying with him. He's just making him not be able to come back. Look, they're already starting to rotate this Brewmaster and Bloodseeker too. And he's ready to look for Seb.
Seb's got to get out.
Oh, Seb.
As indeed FY, the patience keeping that control on Seb, buying time for Chalice to come in. Ana is going to look towards the Tusk. Chalice is now there, does have Primal Split available if he wants to look to take this fight. Somnus coming in as well. As Ana, Seb look to hide in the trees. Can they get out of it? Ana's got a TP available. He's into the trees. He's going to show himself in the lane though. They're going to continue to head over. They are going to see Seb make it out in time. They don't have a stun. Ana, can he get out as well? He can. OG will avoid that rotation from PSG LGD.
FY is just so obnoxious there, following Seb for over a minute, just stalking him, trying to have his team come over.
So that's about, a minute without Aegis being used for LGD. They have 2 minutes left, I would say, to capitalize on this Aegis. Oh man, looks like he is leveling up.
Pretty much back to a 50-50. PSG LGD 2-1 up at the moment in this best of 5 grand finals. 1 game needed to secure the championship title. And at this point, they are ahead here in game 4.
No-Tail hasn't had time to gather a full army of Ancient Fakes. Right now, he just has the Ancient Black Dragon. You really want those other auras when you're at a big disadvantage in the team fights already.
Yeah, it's tough though, because Jerax doesn't want to be following around his chat, giving him the agony. So. As Thompson, he does have a Lincoln Spear picked up, and they should have the BKB finished on Seb too. So that'll give him a little bit easier time to get those Blink Claws as he's been suffering to do so in the last few fights. And Somnus, I have Scotty picked up, about to be level 25 as well.
Yeah, they just need a couple more minutes on the side of OG before they're ready to fight. Wait for the Aegis to expire.
Seb, he's in, gets the call, the character's going to get FY, there with the snowball save. He's going to be fine, and now they turn to look towards the axe. The taunt's going to be out. Seb goes for the TP. They've got the stun to cancel though. Seb held back for now. Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson, he's running away. X-Nova's there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from No-Tail's coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in the series that X-Nova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the Senton creep to boot. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time that he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. Yeah, he sees Ana farming these Ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The blood bright silence connects. He's got the matchup back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
Just having all this vision. I mean, X-Nova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. You're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not going to have vision over here. But no, X-Nova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
And he has some incredible foresight to be able to have these wards that just lead to really clutch pickoffs. And Axe has not spent his money safer buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out. Thompson's still dead for 15. Ideally, he doesn't buy back it. They may have to buy back on Ana. He's gone for 50 seconds. The split coming out from Chalice. He's ready to push in, look for the stun on No-Tail to hold back the Chen. As the mid-racks are exposed, PSG LGD, 40 minutes in, able to open into the base and clean out this mid lane of Brax. Still Ana holding on to that buyback.
And they're going to keep going here. They really want to force this PL to come back here.
Stun onto Thompson. Will blink dodge it. But another tier 3 tower falling incredibly fast. They really don't want to use it. Seb jumps in, gets the call onto F5. There's the buyback. The cataclysm isn't enough to do anything. It isn't. PSG LGD still fighting strong. Thompson getting focused by Somnus. Seb taken down by Arme. The triple buybacks now out. Zana in trouble. He's pulled back for this one. The deafening blast onto the three of them. Knocks them back. But Ana gets focused. Seb! He's in with the call. He has the control onto the morphing Somnus. Now being chased by Thompson. Blinks in with the cold snap. The PL army's on top of it. They get Somnus too. As OG, they have to expend 3 buybacks, but they hold on to the top rack. Somnus now down for 2 minutes. No buyback available on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's 400 gold short of it. It's up in about 8 seconds. OG, they have to make so much happen here. They have to push out all their lanes. 2 of the side lanes are already going, but I think trying to get some kills here, like on FY here, would be very ideal.
Hey, look how close to Brew is at 25.
So close.
With that, time will down.
Oh, Thompson, he sees it FY. He's used the snowball. He turns with the combo FY with the self-fuels, but OG, they've surrounded him. Seb jumps in with the call, the blade mail. FY's gone.
Instant buyback from FY.
Still that scary, scary time for LGD. 75 seconds without Somnus. OG have the full 5-man pushing in all 3 lanes at the same time as they approach LGD's base.
I don't even know if I get mad for that. This team fight. The LGD aren't involved, but no blood take up to 60 seconds. This would be disastrous.
He's got a full BKB on Seb as well.
Chalice really wants to hit level 25 before he pops that primal split. So close.
Just got to be careful, Seb. Looking for that blink initiation.
Chalice is stepping back. They give him the tome. He needed like 5 experience, and they gave him the tome just to make sure that he gets it anyway. Just playing as safe as possible here.
Looks like OG don't feel that the window is big enough for them to push in whilst this Bloodseeker's still dead. They'll back away.
They can't count. They bought back 3 heroes. They weren't able to get any T30s, and there's no Roshan up yet. Big Daddy No-Tail's praying for a Rosh right now so we can get that refresher, but it's not going to be out. And maybe we'll dodge a bullet.
At least they got a good amount of economy off that, right? It was up to a 15k gold advantage, and they chunked it down to 7. Same thing with experience. So they did get quite a lot out of that one, but they ideally wanted to get at least one of those sets of racks to get some momentum pushing in with those 3 buybacks used.
Absolutely, it is this really scary moment of the game now for OG. We're about 5-6 minutes still without those buybacks available. If PSG LGD can find that one team fight, it could be the team fight to win TI in this window of time that they now have presented to themselves.
Ana's gone full in for that butterfly too. As they pick up also an AI this on Jeremy, so protected in O. DD did spawn, however, was killed.
It's also pretty scary for Baby right now. He only has a 5-second BKB, and he does a lot of damage, and will get wrecked by the Axe Blade and they all call if he finds it, especially with this BKB. Now, there's not that many ways to stop him.
This is all about FY and Chalice, right? Just either saving or just getting into the midst of the fights and not allowing OG to get the picks.
It's going to be dispelled.
Let's get dispelled.
He's in the trees. They're on the high ground. They've got the vision with the Shiva's covered. Ana's on his way over. They've got the snowball down. There's the Catapult. Seb jumps in. He's able to find the call onto Chalice, but Chalice already got the BKB out. The Sunstride's going to be down onto FY, but FY will survive. Seb pots the BKB. He'll try and stand his ground, but Seb, he's going to go down. No buyback on the Axe. And Jax as well, surrounded by PSG LGD. The Eon Disc will proc, but they'll fight through it.
He has to buy back immediately.
Look at these creep dragged by these 4 spirits. On the bottom route, they have no creeps in the mid lane.
Sienna still holding on to that buyback on Jerax. But as Ben said, the creeps aren't here.
It's backdoor. Can they breach through it? It's not looking like it right now. Maybe everyone hitting the same one.
That creep cutting, is it enough to hold OG in the game?
You see No-Tail's already running to just, he doesn't care. He's going to throw his life for this. He needs to just keep these creeps out of the base to keep that back door up. He doesn't care if he dies.
Which he certainly will as they get upon him. They find his life. 1 minute now without No-Tail and without Seb. Thompson, Anna, and Jerax. The only 3 heroes that can offer their defense during this final minute, this final stand.
Jerax is really trying to hold on to his buyback.
As Chalice split the course up once again. They're finishing off this second set of racks. He's got the Cyclone holding Anna up in the skies. As this rack's on the top lane will fall, the melee rack's gone. PSG LGD playing this carefully. As they'll go down towards the bottom as well. Arme, doppelgangers, he's losing a fair bit of mana as the PL. Still able to shift back into that Morphling if needs be. As OG, they will lose their top racks, but they won't lose the game. PSG LGD are playing it safe. They know how close they are to victory, and they will not throw it away.
And they know that the Roche is probably respawning pretty soon, and it actually is up, so that is that refresher shard. They already have pretty much infinite primal splits up anyway, but they feel very confident here.
They weren't able to de-ward that ward in the mid lane, so it looks like they are going for a Roche fake out.
Anna is on top of X-Nova. The Ghost Step's going to get the set. Oh, he's in. The call, the MP, the counter, and FY is in. He's able to get the save off in time to keep this man alive. Get it up. Chalice is down. Buyback from X-Nova and Chalice. FY with the Invis. Somnus looking to get involved. Pots the BKB to get over the ice. They get on top of Seb. Seb's in trouble. Seb's gone. The axe down once again for 90 seconds. As now FY giving them the vision, but they see him. For the doppelganger to jump away from the snowball over to Thompson, the self-fuels. FY trying to buy time for the rest of LGD to come in. Again, up into the air. Arme straight on top of No-Tail. FY will fall. Arme looking towards No-Tail. No-Tail pops the hand of God, but No-Tail beat it down by Arme and Somnus. Chalice gets the primal split off as Anna. He's been left behind in Thompson. He's got to do something incredible in terms of the combo. Can he find the angle? Jerax coming in, keeping Anna alive. Anna with the doppelganger. The deafening blast comes out onto the 2 of them. Anna trying to go in, looking for the kill. Can he find it in time onto X-Nova? He's on top of him, trying to beat him down. Anna again with the doppelganger, now retreating back towards the base. As X-Nova will survive. Jerax back in, the combo, re-ball down onto Chalice, but Chalice is so tanky. Boss the Shiva's gone. He's on top of Jerax. Jerax is gone. Anna as well. Can he really fight back against the Somnus, and X-Nova are so low? As the buyback for Jerax comes in, he's healing Anna back up. That buyback could set them up for the kill on X-Nova. The cold snap down onto the charge, and they find him. Arme, he's out of mana. He's starting to shift into the strength, but he's surrounded. OG, can they find the ball? They can! OG are still in the game. Arme buys back immediately. But now it's PSG LGD's turn to be without 2 of their supports. Seb's going to be back up in 8 seconds.
Oh my god, that buyback from Jerax onto that shrine, being able to save Anna, but Anna also toying with them with that doppel. He sent the illusion. They thought that was the real one. They actually couldn't finish him off, even though they got the thirst vision of him for a second.
With the level 25 talent on the doppelganger, it's
Look at this.
really hard to kill.
Seb.
Yeah.
He's looking straight for the plate. Can he find Somnus? He's hunting. Somnus. He's there, Seb. He'll see him. Oh! Doesn't get the call, though, and now Seb. He'll be ruptured. They're looking at him, but Anna, he's straight in on top of Somnus. Somnus puts the BKB. Anna again with the doppelganger. There's a Cataclysm coming out. And Somnus still alive. Anna will be able to force him away. They've got the head. They've got the control. They're on top of him. Can they kill him in time? They can. Chalice got for 2 minutes. And Seb, he's finding, looking for Arme. Big Daddy No-Tail gets the penitence out. Only onto the illusion, though. Arme able to wait for him up to the high ground. As Arme should be fine here.
Thompson's got the ghost strike. He's got Hex
maybe.
up soon too.
Oh, the doppelganger Arme's over the trees. Can he hide his way out of this?
No back, real one.
Goes for the waveform. Seb tries for the call, but he's already out of there. Nice play from Arme.
And he buys so much time too for his team there. The Brewmaster was dead for 120 seconds, now only 90.
Still a big window for OG. They're only without Jerax for the same amount of time. And that lead that PSG LGD had, it is going down a little bit. Only 4K, 5K at the moment. With these last few fights, obviously the 25s now coming out on OG. Thompson's into the pit.
What a timely DD coming out for him too. I don't think they expected to be taken out as fast. He's almost able to solo it with the help of these summons. And that's a refresher shot. There's no way they get this.
That
way, LGD.
Oh, and the Seb level 25 too. That extra Berserker's Call AoE. It catches people out. They don't expect it.
It does not feel like OG of 2X
yeah. The Berserker's call now is, I mean, the AoE is
massive.
really massive now when you have that talent.
It's so hard to play against. Can PSG LGD do it? They've got the Basher now for Somnus. For just a 2k lead with those last big comeback plays from OG. Still 30 seconds without Chalice.
Double Hex coming out now. Thompson and these 5-second BKBs. Yeah, I mean, they were flushing with their
FY.
Being spotted out.
Got the vision. They're on top of him. Thompson, he's in trouble. The nullify comes out, but he got the Ghost Walk off as well as the Hex in time. Now, Somnus turns out, the blood runs down. Thompson
Alliances turn to ban.
has got the buyback available. PSG LGD will certainly look to
But
force it out.
a lot of their strategy just didn't have what it took to fight Viking at their strongest. And even with their great pressure in the lanes, it wasn't enough. And that kind of either means Alliance played strategically incorrectly after the laning stage, or the game was just very difficult and they needed to overperform. So I'm hoping for a strategy in this game that a bit easier for them against Viking. So specifically more
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
If we are just comparing bans from last time around, they're exactly the same. Chen would be the next if they're going to follow suit. Anything from last game you feel like is worthy of a ban? Enchantress was also banned, just not in this order. Pace. So, for example, Luna Venged, you ban one of them to prevent this combo.
Turn to ban.
Is that worthy in your eyes?
I think banning Luna is completely valid. It's something a lot of teams are doing right now in the highest brackets of the game as well. So
Team ban.
I could see that. They're going to ban the Venge though, so I'm assuming Alliance will leave in the Luna instead. And then we'll see if Viking rated high enough to first pick it when there's no Venge available. I personally don't think they will. I think there's probably some other options, like Chen would be a possibility for Celery to play. Obviously loves the Chen and Enchantress and just gone. What else are we looking at top tier wise? There's Nature's Prophet still. Toby plays that hero.
5 seconds remaining.
Beastmaster, Treant Protector, those are two bans from last time.
Yeah. Beastmaster, of course. I don't know, how could we forget? He is the top tier here, probably. The highest rated hero that's left. And it means Alliance have a choice to make, right? They want to try to set it up so that whatever they give away, they give a good trade that they think they can build a strategy around that beats the hero they give. So let's say you give Beastmaster, you're hoping that you can get Nature's Prophet +1 and then play to Nature's Prophet strengths against Beastmaster. Which is, you know, Nature's Prophet is really good at pushing out lanes, and when lanes are pushed out, it's harder for Beastmaster to take initiative. So it's definitely a way to work around it. I personally think I should probably just ban it, but we'll see if they do give it away here.
Well, Earthshaker's going to be the ban. He was in the last game, so that can open up potentially either the Beastmaster or Protector, or both.
Yeah. I think we're going to see. He's probably debating like if he has to ban Beast now. I think if he bans Beast, Viking picks Furion.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's still
5 seconds.
So do you want to take the trade or not?
How good is, talked about this in past casts and it looked really good, Ember Coddle.
There's also Ember Coddle. I was just about to say that's like the last thing that's left, and Viking can also do that. So there's a lot for Alliance to think about here, right? Because, you know, they just lost to Ember, so they know Viking are warmed up with that and want to play it today. Shad plays Ember, just the same as Boom, so if you pick it first, you have options of where to put it in lanes.
Does it ever come into your mind as a captain that they just played a hero so they're warmed up with it? Is that actually, I mean, I understand that obviously that is a thing, but from a draft perspective, it's something that enters your mind.
I didn't really mean it as, okay, they've just played Ember, so now, like, literally the player's fingers are warmed up and he's going to press his buttons better. It's not like that. It's more like they're just in the comfort zone, right? You feel confident with a hero that you just won with and you had a great performance on. So that's what I meant. Like, the whole team is warmed up to the idea that we can just play this hero again and win.
Right, okay.
He lets Beastmaster through, so Viking are going to grab that. And now they might even take Luna as the 10th pick, or as the, what is that now? Now it's called the 12 pick. We used to call it 10 pick because there were 6 bans and 4 picks, so it was like number 10 in the captain's mode. Breakdown, now the numbers are different, so I don't know them by heart anymore. The last pick of the first phase. Yeah.
Enigma first pick. Wow. That
They
is
like this on
global.
hand skin a lot.
First pick, though. Wow.
I'm not sure if they consider this really good against Beastmaster. Can you convert the boars on all levels? I guess you can. So they might play it as a support against Beasts, as like a pseudo solution when you can't have Ench or Chen. This is a hero that can somewhat deal with the pressure. Maybe that's an idea. The issue is if you convert the boar next to Beast, he might be able to trade
Team pick. 2
Eidolon kills in return. What is going on?
Winter Wyvern second pick. Alliance is kind of... It looks like they have... Obviously, they knew Beastmaster would be picked. But it looks like they're going into this with a set strategy in mind. A set 5 or 6 heroes in mind for whatever strategy they have chosen to go with.
6 heroes.
They got major team fight right now. Well, they have 5 or 6 heroes in mind because one...
Oh, understood. Okay. This level of play that happens very much, if at all. That you have a pre-tailored lineup and you don't care what the enemy picks. Like, you have to respond to what's happening. And this response is 2 heroes that are good against Beastmaster, right? You have the Winter's Curse against the Necrobook hero that is very single target heavy. You have Cold Embrace against the Roar plus all the minions hitting. And then you have the Enigma for what I imagine would be the conversion play. They need to be careful not to layer their ultis poorly, though. These 2 heroes can really sabotage each other. So that's, again, an ease of execution thing that is against them, where they need to not Black Hole during Curse. And it might sound easy because you're like, these are pro players, it's the top level, but a lot of the time 2 players see the same play at the same moment and they both are in position. They're gonna go for it, you know? It's like, I'm holding, I'm cursing, and then you're like, fuck, we just wasted 2 ultis, right? So you gotta be careful with that. Always something to keep in mind with Wyvern, always.
You can't always prep your team that you're about to do something. Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah,
All
it
about the
does.
instinct.
It definitely does.
But yeah,
Great
got a
Rubik
lot of
pick.
wave clear. Wyvern.
Alliance's turn to
They
pick.
do.
Rubik. So Rubik is one of
Steel
those...
Black Hole, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then Splinter Blast, just continually steal that. I mean, there's still
Curse.
everything that we'd be happy
Curse is
with.
a great steal, too.
Obviously. I mean, you typically go Aether Lens on this hero as well, right? As a first item.
Yeah.
Not the most difficult spells to take, especially the Black Hole.
Black Hole is mega easy. Yeah. I'm liking how Vikings started this one out, and Luna did not even get banned, so they can still go in that direction with their Beastmaster strategy if they want to. Now they're going to be less incentivized to do it. Ursa, very good hero against Luna. He's fast. He comes up close. He can mitigate a lot of your damage that you usually will use to protect yourself against melee cores. And I would say he's a relatively good laner against Beastmaster as well. I think Enigma Ursa can stand up to Beastmaster Rubik. I've never seen it played, but just conceptually I would imagine Ursa does fine in that lane. So at least that's something, because Beastmaster, what a stupidly strong hero right now, right? Strong laner, auras, can go Necrobook, which is a powerful item, can Roche, single target stun, map control with Hawk. Like, what a package, man. What an absolutely god tier hero.
He's got a fat package, I know that from experience.
He is, yeah. He has to cover it up really well with that big shield in front of him. That's...
What is that? Not
I don't know. I'm actually
thing.
sure.
It's like doesn't Juggernaut have something similar?
It looks kind of low poly, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of...
Not for the collector's cash, then. Super high poly on that one.
Doesn't it look a little bit misaligned to you as well? Like, the depth... It looks like it's taped on. Am I the only one seeing this? Out of you and me?
It's it looks like... You see how he's breathing? It's not really... It doesn't look realistic. It does look like it's kind of just slapped on there. They're going to go with Axe.
You would imagine it would move a bit more with his body.
Which he might get, you know, his Arcana from last year. Hopefully. So we can get even more bare-chested, beautiful Axe.
You'll love to see it.
Talk to me about the Grimstroke.
10 seconds remaining.
You got the... like, you don't really have any... I mean, you have Double Roar, I suppose.
Double Roar, Double Fate Bolt. Double Fate Bolt is no joke.
Silence
It is
always.
strong. Yeah. I think it's...
Okay.
It's also just a player preference. Viking are very comfortable playing this hero on Celery. I think they have a lot of strategies where they like having the Grimstroke for the play potential and the laning stage. So sometimes it's not more complicated than our team really likes playing with this hero. We all know what to do, and we feel very confident when we have it. Usually there's an overlap with the hero actually being good. and Grimstroke is good in this patch, so I don't think it's much more than that. They see a couple of nice setups for the ulti, and they like it, so there you go. I guess it's not theoretically very great against Ursa, right? I guess Soulbind is, because he can't move then. If he gets bound to anything, he can't Earthshock away, but his attack speed is obviously amazing at killing the silence when he has Overpower running, so...
Just use it before he pops Overpower, no problem. Well, Spectre's going to be the pick for Viking. So we saw AM last game for Alliance. This was the other original carry. Dota 2 first came out. A little bit more versatile, I would say. Can obviously still kind of play on the other side of the map, but then instantly join you at any time. What are your thoughts on Spectre meta?
Good more often than it was in the past. I feel like the team's ability to control the mid game and Spectre's I think it's a way of thinking about comparing it to damage, right? Not because there's heroes game, but it gives you a bit of understanding of what hero can that he can't. In many people's mind, wow, it's a greedy late game hero, it's to farm, right? Spectre has multiple advantages that AM doesn't. In cases, it's stronger laner, move speed, so it can stay on top of the target here in a lot of situations, and in fights, and usually doesn't really want to join, loves to join when it happens, so it can contribute more to progressing the game plan, and it's obviously an amazing late game carry, and in this game in particular, heroes hate playing against Haunt. And what does Enigma, and even a Wyvern who you want to find, right? The vision from Spectre is amazing. You have 2 vision heroes with Spectre, and your last pick an Ember again. I just love Vikings look again. I think their strategy looks super good.
I did not think about the blink that here. That is super true. Holy crap.
Even Ursa doesn't really bite more, so I guess that one is. This would have been insane.
Yeah. Extra mobility now. Shock these days. So it only has 10 seconds to pick the last one. What are they missing right now?
Way to solve Ember. They put Act mid for Limp. Limp actually plays Corax, but they're not. Shift mid or carry because it's one. I think they're gonna debate right now. If they should give Limp the Ursa against Ember mid and put Shadowfiend safe lane against Beastmaster, or if it's fine the other way around.
So
they are the only
go
two
out
players
on a limb here,
here.
Cinderin, and say that this will not be magical-based Shadowfiend with Blink Yules. Gonna be more than abundant on Alliance's lineup anyway.
Good question. I don't know. I don't think it's unreasonable to still go Blink Yules. I know it might sound surprising, but
I mean, Haunt is such a long cooldown, so it's not like it's
you can still play. You can still play around it, and it's also about the timing in the game, right? Like if Shadowfiend goes Blink Yules, he gets it really fast. If you compare that to Enigma having Blink BKB or Axe having Blink Blade Mail, there's like Shadowfiend has a more natural and faster way of acquiring the key item. And then it's also like, what does their lineup want? You can't build your entire strategy around let's not do what they want to do. You also need to play your own timings. And if Shadowfiend goes a right-click build, who's doing stuff in this game right now for Alliance? If Shadowfiend is not. Like, Enigma will be greedy. You have a Wyvern 4. It's an Enigma 5, by the way. It will be laning against Beastmaster, probably. Axe offlane. Like, much dependence on items here from Alliance. Again, similar to last game. They just...
Yeah. Wow.
It's slow.
Greedy.
And I'm worried, actually. I'm just worried that they won't get a foothold on the map. If they do, and they stabilize, their lineup can be obviously amazing later on. But I just see Viking having so high pace. Rubik Grim supports, they get levels. You give Inkswell to Ember, he's a boss. Beastmaster is, as is well established in this patch, just kind of a god in the early mid portions of the game. And Spectre can join globally. So for Viking, the idea is probably just let's play our lanes, and then as soon as we feel online, let's go do shit. Like, run at Alliance at all spaces of the map. Don't let them farm. And we don't think they can fight back. At least that would be my read on the game for them.
So even though I know FNG plays the 5, is there no way that he's just playing the 4 this game? How do you play Enigma position 5?
You deny creeps in the lane and you try to get an aura item. You will not get Blink BKB, obviously, like that. Maybe you get something like a Crimson or Vlad's or a Pipe or Mech, whatever you feel like you can afford for your team. You could get Necrobook as well as a 5. It's still an impactful item. But yeah, I think 5 Enigma is actually genuinely very good in some games. I just think the framework for it here is too greedy for my taste. I would have liked a different 4. Like then, I think your 4 should be Earth Spirit or something then, right? Like somebody that...
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course.
...does stuff. But we'll see.
My question is, why choose Enigma 5 when you have a Wyvern that could also play the 5 and it's more common?
I think it's maybe player preference. This is one of the lines. Or Hanskin actually loves both heroes, so maybe it's FNG who wants to play Enigma, or maybe it's just, you know, from a laning perspective, we want FNG to lane with Nico, or whatever it is. Could just be comfort. Lots of possibilities, but.
So you like Vikings lineup more?
I do. I definitely do. I like the lineup more, and I like their chances more as well in this game.
Now, in terms, usually don't talk about itemization this early, but I haven't been keep, as you know, with Spectre these days. Is it any different variation? Like, I know they went Necro 1 for a while. I don't think that's a thing anymore because of the mana cost
changes. Yeah, it's not that common.
Right? So is it a Radiance? Is it a Fusel? Is it Manta after? Is it basically the same?
The most common builds is getting a couple of stat items like 2 Wraith Bands and then Treads.
Oh yeah, after that.
Or Phase. And then you get either either Manta or Radiance, usually one of those two. You can get the Manta first, because it is a high impact item on Spectre. You obviously get illusions with Desolate, it's very powerful. I think in this game, Radiance looks insanely good. It's even more Blink Dagger cancellation. It's evasion against Ursa and Shadow Fiend. And it's just the late game secured as well, right? Like, look at their team, how much AoE damage they're going to have with a Radiant Spectre and Ember.
You deal with Spectre late game. Radiance to start. Very, very difficult. Well, top lane, we're already going to see the spam coming out of both Shad and Celery, but the counter spam now from S4 and Hanskin. So a lot of harassment for sure on each respective side. Of course, Celery has the lowest cooldown with Stroke of Fate. Constantly up, it feels. In mid lane, didn't really talk about this yet, but SF versus Ember Spirit.
Great Shadowfiend.
How does this usually?
Great Shadowfiend lane. That's the reason they last picked it. They saw no hero that Viking can put mid will beat Shadowfiend. He's favored in all of the matchups. Ember it's actually a kind of, I don't know if we can call it classic at this point because it's probably like a year or two old, but this is a counterpick to Ember that's been used a lot. Just you have overwhelming magic damage, so you break Flame Guard, and if he comes up close and your razors can't hit, you still pack a punch, so you can kind of fight him back most of the time. But later on in the game, it's not that black and white. Like, Shadowfiend doesn't necessarily have the best options for, say, catching the Ember. Doesn't deal too well with getting constantly poked in fights from range. So it's a lane counter mainly, I would say.
Already, I mean, the CS is pretty even at this. I mean, the favoring Limp. I'm sure it's just going to amplify as the levels come for him. Souls and whatnot. Celery top lane. Battle Hunger is applied. He has 8 HP and he lives. That's about as close as it gets right there.
That's a good tango.
Yeah, very value tango. He's going to walk all the way back to base, though, it looked like.
It's great from Alliance, though, that they put pressure here. I think it's really, really crucial in this game that their laning stage leads to an advantage, because it needs to compensate for the time they have to wait later on while their things build up. So if they at least put a little bit
taking a lot of damage, but now that he's close to the tower, he can dish it out himself as well. A couple raises and already low HP. Bottom lane, we'll talk about this lane very briefly as well. Rubik Beastmaster versus Enigma Ursa. Like you talked about, Enigma could just take over that board anytime. Top lane Shad taking a ton of damage. Battle Hunger just ended. I think he will live. But what do you think of the bot lane setup right now as a 2v?
Obviously, Alliance are going to have a bit of an advantage in the start on experience, just from conversion. But once Beastmaster hits level 3 and Rubik hits level 3, I think it can fight back a lot more. But Alliance built themselves a good advantage here to start. Fate Bolt obviously amazing against Enigma. It cuts the Eidolon damage in half. Look at them, 20 minus 10. Look at how they look like Bounty Hunter, all of them as well, by the way. Very nice.
I know, I was actually so surprised when I got in the game, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they literally took the Bounty Hunter model, essentially. Very unique. Very good.
Oh, Toby. Damn, they're so strong still with this lane, just because the Eidolons are not a factor. It cuts their damage by 13, so 20 minus 13 damage on the Eidolons. They hit for 7. It is nothing.
Damage. Definitely the tickling. Shad
Something
top lane with 11 CS right now.
Yeah. It's not only him, it's also S4. Like, this game, it looks like S4 is being enabled. I think in his last game on Queen of Pain, he had some pretty tough conditions, but this time they've made sure that he gets to shine. So all of Alliance's heroes this time around getting very good farm, and that's a good look for the future of the game, obviously. Shad, like you pointed out, doesn't have the highest CS, but there was also 6 creeps waiting for him, and he pulled into a big camp, so he's gonna end up on like 25 here if he gets everything.
Down it goes. That was actually the chainmail for S4 as he's working towards his phase boots right now. Gonna have to wait another minute or so.
Could stick TP.
Is being chased.
He bought as much time as possible before doing it. Very nice, actually. I thought he was going to do it earlier, but he was like, how much space can I buy my Spectre here? And Alliance kept running after him for a good, like, 15 seconds there. That was very good for Shad to just get that free space.
Come back for the CS, but like you said, S4 is just getting, like, every creeper.
He's getting big.
Well, delayed on the face was just a tad, but not by that much considering he didn't have enough quite yet for
Radiant's courier has been
Blades of Attack.
killed.
Armis bot lane. He's gonna get 2
Radiant's
courier kills.
has been killed.
Oh,
Man alive. We've been. I feel like the games that we watch, there's just so many more courier kills than usual. And there's no puppy in this game either. Very strange. Not every day you see the Rubik just waddle on over and get 2 courier kills. It feels like everybody's just so focused on last hit, they don't even look at the minimap for the courier.
I mean, it's also not very common that you look at the last hits, right? 38, 31, 30 to 26, 21, 21. Vikings still has the gold lead. Like,
Yeah, that is
Alliance have actually got so good farm in the lanes, but the couple of courier kills and maybe the extra region they've had to water whatever it is, Viking are basically matching them here. And this is an Alliance draft that wants to lane win, right? FNG, okay, they do get the first blood here. Nico Baby is low, but he's safe.
Quick ends up
Big
taking
kill for
a
Enigma.
tumble there. Mid
300
lane,
gold.
seeing more back and forth. A lot of damage was done to this tier 1 in favor of
Dire's
Alliance.
middle tower is under
Invis
attack.
is on limp. Not sure if he actually wants to go. Probably will. Just continuing to farm the lane, push it out, jungle, or just accelerate. We get called here from S4, who now has his phase boots, so he is quite strong. This 2v1 right now. We'll continue the pressure. I don't think he can get this kill.
Dire's
He's going
middle
to take
tower
some
is under attack.
damage as a result, but Stroke of Fate is juked that time. Oh, actually he does pop the invis and immediately TP's bottom, so see if they can set something up here.
But they're not expecting this move for sure.
Obviously doesn't have Reckoning of Souls yet, but does have
they pinged?
4 raise.
They actually realized, wait, where did Shadowfiend go? He's not mid and we know he has an invis. He was too, it wasn't, I'd say, Nico wasn't high enough health that he could go in immediately, so they had to kind of wait. Shad top, they're trying to trade for celery. They will do it here. 1 for 1.
It's 4 now. 1v1 versus Shad.
One more spin
Shad
would do
not
it.
interested in
Oh,
this.
he's not 6. Never mind. But if he would have spun from that 1 range creep, he would have got level 6 and got him under the kill threshold.
No.
That would have been really sexy, but didn't happen.
Very sexy. S4 is going to continue to just pull these waves, combine it with some neutrals. Good old Codable right here. Takes a lot of damage. More stolen here from Celery is the trusty shovel. His inventory.
Easy salve. It's like, oh, convenient.
Very nice. Mid lane, we're going to see the 1v1 battle of the ages. Remnant away.
Wow, that was truly epic. Thanks for that.
A 1v1 battle for the ages. As S4 continuing to be a nuisance here. But this allows Shad to, I mean, now that you have 2 Wraith Bands with Quelling Blade, you should be able to last it pretty easily under the tower. But S4 just continuing to get a ton of farm. Actually top of the net worth of the entire game right now.
Rune of haste.
Get that fast blink next. as he looks to be chased here. Boom with that haste rune right now. Searing Chains is online. I go for Handskin instead. Inkswell will set things up, but nice cold embrace.
Dire's middle tower.
Keeping him safe for now. Under the tower, of course. S4 is going to call. Boom. With that remnant, ends up helping taking out the Wyvern in the end. So
Not too bad
rotation,
for
but
Lions.
ends up getting limp with a tower mid here, Cinder.
Yeah, exactly. He trades for the tower, and they only found a support. I think they were really looking for the Axe kill there, but yeah, not the dream outcome exactly for Viking there. And minute 9 mid tower is very, very good. So I think Limp should be happy about this. Let's see his itemization plans. Since he went treads first, I don't think it's gonna be the Yule's build-up. It is still possible, but he might go a different route. I think a lot of the time we see Yules, we see it with brown boots. And you just really get that Yule super fast. This might be a combat build like you predicted. Maybe Silver Edge against Spectre.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting.
It's a possibility. Don't know. It's not a very popular
What are
build
your
anymore.
thoughts? What are your thoughts on Nico Baby building a Drum of Endure? Wants to get involved early, I suppose.
Yeah, I think again, it's like Alliance are identifying that they might need to itemize a bit for staying afloat at that mid-game timing, and then he'll probably buy Battle Fury after this drum, I think. But it's just some sort of value where they can group up with their heroes and take a fair fight where they feel like they have a good shot, and then obviously scale very well later on with both their supports.
S4 going for the bounty rune. Looks like this is going to be the first team fight of the game, potentially. Boom. A lot of damage being done, and S4 is going to be the first casualty. Boom. Attempting to get up. These right clicks from Shadow Fiend are crazy strong, but he's going to be silenced. Lifted as the Wrecker was about to go off, and they're going to find the kill as well. So Viking with a 2 for nothing. Well executed bounty fight.
Great rotation on the Rubik. Really was the difference maker there. Yeah, very nice. And in the meantime, they're not even suffering much of a loss here, because guess what Beastmaster can also do that we didn't talk about? He can also farm Ancients, by the way, when he has Necro 1. So even though he doesn't like laning against Ursa, he doesn't really need to care. He has a great plan B that is basically as good as plan A. So this plan's all over. And he seems to be just wanting to maybe try to take some farm away from Ursa here in the jungle. Nico will just yield, run away, and get settled with a small camp, whereas Toby will bully his way to a big camp, basically.
Yep, looks like Shad is targeting towards getting that Radiance right now, as they're going to apply some pressure to S4. TP support with FNG is here. Gets the Malefice off into the black hole. Oh, but the Inkswell is enough to cancel it. Very quick succession. And it was actually the black hole stolen, as we talked about that pregame. Very easy to do so. S4 getting chased with the first haunt of the game from Shad. Another, still needs a couple right clicks, I think. The tower's going to help out the dispersion.
I actually thought he might have chosen to dive that. He could have sticked in treads and then had a dagger in 3 seconds for the
He might go back in. Dagger is on.
No.
It's a level 4 dagger. He's going for it. He's going to get called, but there's TP support for Alliance coming in now. Looks like Ember Spirit's going to help finish him off a little bit too late on the ult from Handskin, but they might be able to get Shad either way. Inkswell's going to be on 2 heroes. This is a tier 2 dive at minute 12, and they're going to find 3 heroes, and no one will die on their side.
Complete disaster for Alliance. Man. Oof. They're not bringing the hero that needs to be there, right? It's the Shadow Fiend and the Ursa that can take this fight, but Ursa had TP cooldown, and Shadow Fiend had TP cooldown. So they brought the ones that they could, but it's just not the right heroes. Like, the Enigma Wyvern duo don't take fights like this very well, especially when they have Black Hole on cooldown, right? Great Black Hole immediately. He casted super fast on the Ember, which was very impressive, but obviously didn't account for the Rubik spell steal and didn't account for the fact that Ember was Inkswelled. I don't think they actually even saw that going in. So yeah, just solid stuff
I don't think I even saw that. I saw it when it went off.
I didn't see it either. I don't think I had the audio cue, but I heard the audio cue when it exploded. But yeah, good stuff from Viking again. They're playing good Dota.
That was about a 2,000 net worth swing, I want to say. They were about 1k behind, which obviously, as you're working towards his Radiance, that's when Spectre truly comes online, even though he's still useful in these fights, unlike an AM, as you were talking about.
It's kind of like, think back a year And now I tell you that Spectre is having a huge impact, minute 13 being part of tons of kills, and Ursa is standing in lane hitting creeps. Like, it's how the tables have turned.
Now, was his... do you know if his TP was on cooldown for Ursa or something?
It was there.
Oh,
it was, yeah. But, like, obviously I'm painting it very black and white. Like, Spectre has always been able to join fights, but it's really... I think the pro players have just got a lot better at utilizing that small advantage to turn it into something big.
It's like Handskin is going to be the sacrificial lamb here for Alliance.
And the gold doesn't look that bad, right? Like, the gold doesn't look too bad. They're only less than 1k behind. But it's just, like... This is when the hard part of the game begins, in my opinion. Viking have the threat on you of getting Radiance. Their Beastmaster is getting Necro 3 in 1 minute. It's online, and they have levels on Grim to make Ember strong. He has 4 levels in Inkswell.
I do like this.
This is a really good road. That's good.
Yeah,
that's very good.
They definitely needed it. But Aegis now on Nico Baby. They can get ultra aggressive if they want. Blink Dagger is almost there for S4, so they might just wait for that. Or not. Grimstroke presents himself. I guess you take it.
Yeah, not really. I think Celery was kind of uncertain what he wanted to do there, and ends up actually losing a dominating streak to SF. So Limp gonna munch that up. Went for the Yasha, by the way. I'm not sure if you mentioned that. So probably gonna go for a Yasha BKB, maybe? BKB seems necessary against this dire lineup. You need to be able to...
going Blink Dagger. We talked about how every hero would get a Blink Dagger, but him potentially. So it looks like he's actually going for that instead of the Battlefield suggested.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much I like it. I feel like it's high risk, right, on this hero. Alternatively, you can build a Bastion and start working toward Abyssal, and then you get that little blink as well. It's obviously way more expensive. So again, maybe this is just underlining Alliance's game plan of to take initiative and be able to match, because it's going to get too hard if we're not on level fighting ground.
That should help.
So maybe that's the idea. Like, I'm just trying to read their mentality out of this, because this is a very unusual Ursa build lately, I would say. Most people go for the more farming heavy build-up with Battle Fury and stats, Sanjin Yasha, Satanic. They're looking for something, but the princess isn't in this castle, or maybe the princess is going to walk into it.
Oh, Shad, he
Broke
does have the
smoke.
relic, so this would not be the worst death on him. They're gonna blink in.
Did he even kill him?
It's gonna be close. Calling Blade. Oh! He jaunts to another illusion.
He got cursed mid.
And he gets cursed mid. FNG
Okay,
is on the way as well, and yeah, he's super dead. But again, he just bought his relic, so that's actually maybe the best time to die if you're gonna die.
It was definitely better than dying 1 minute ago. I agree.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
S4, gonna show himself. Yeah, that's...
He's dead.
Okay.
That's a Necro 3, several boars, lots of units, including
He didn't have any vision in the area, but he went well ahead of his team to purchase some info there. Are they going to use it correctly, though, Nico?
Nico Baby, Telekinetic. Winter's Curse is on cooldown right now. And Nico Baby.
Oh, no, the black hole got cancelled by silence.
He's stealing.
Oh, this is bad.
The Inkswell now onto FNG. That's going to be an easy cleanup for Viking, as the Aegis is gone, it sounds like. And Nico Baby continues to get his mana drained. Has to pop his ult. The Yules will come
Oh,
through
they...
now. Is that the black hole?
Yeah, he stopped his
black hole.
stolen black hole.
Nico Baby getting safe for now, but Celery just blows them up. So right now, just even though they're only up 1k, it just feels like they're getting better trades in every single fight, other than that Spectre dying.
Remember, this was a fight
Radiant's top tower
into
is under attack.
4 of Alliance's heroes with Aegis and a Spectre that couldn't connect at all. So Alliance technically had more heroes involved, and the main thing that set it off was S4's death beforehand, right? It was like, okay, Axe is dead, let's go, run them down, we're mega strong right now, and they made it look easy.
Looks like Boom wants to potentially go for this. They're going to be working on his death, so now that he has his substitution.
Yeah, covers all his mana problems, gives him a solution against Ursa, against Axe, especially very nice for the call. And just more flexibility overall in the fights, where he can like jump behind them and stop key spells like Black Hole, or he can stop Requiem wind up. It's good. Oh, FNG. AFK.
Yeah, he is literally just standing there. Cost him his life. So another kill going the way of Viking, and we are on Radiant's watch for Shad. He is about 400 away from finishing
Hands
this
goes
bad
to
boy bottom lane.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Or into
attack.
death.
Radiant structures
As Toby
are
is working towards a Greaves right now, getting close to finishing the mech. Is there any specific item other than Raid really just want to wait for, or is it
Dire's
actually just
top
Raid?
tower
You just
is under
start fighting
attack.
constantly, as long as Haunt is up.
I think it's enough, as long as you have your cooldowns ready. So remember, the enemy team is relying on cooldowns too, right? Like, that's one of the downfalls of 5 Enigma, is if you don't find farm, then usually Enigma is a lot more about the other spells than Black Hole, but it feels like at this point Black Hole is really important for him in this game, because he doesn't offer much else. You got a little bit of Midnight Pulse and Malefice as always, but it's not the same as if you were a 4 Enigma who, yeah, I'm not going to Black Hole, but at the very least I contribute auras, or I have pushed towers early game to give us an advantage or whatnot. There's definitely a payoff.
Laning stage, and it was just countered by Fate Bolt, right?
Yeah, Fate Bolt was awesome
Dire's
for
top
that lane.
tower is under attack.
See FNG here in the bottom lane, and Ember's gonna start off his normal combo with the Necro units coming very slowly. It's gonna be a painful, slow death for FNG. Likely the tier 2 tower is next.
It's just too easy right now for Viking. Like, Alliance can't really take much initiative on the map, it
Radiant's
feels.
bottom tower is under attack.
They want to make their next move. They already drew the line into their own jungle. They were like, let's go up here next. I would imagine Celery could smoke with Beastmaster and Ember here and basically go anywhere on the map, and they can bring in a Radiant Spectre to the play. This game is looking really good for them right now. Shadow Fiend, is
The
that...
fact that he does have Radiance.
Is it BKB on SF now? Or what's flying out?
Just purchased it.
There it is, okay. This needs to pay off.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's the top net worth in the entire game, so he needs to have an impact immediately. Or else this will just continue to snowball in Vikings' direction. Tier 1 tower about half HP right now. Handskin does have Curse available to him. It's like no fight will start things. Oh, X4 actually does initiate onto Boom, or the other way around. Boom has his Yules available. RMS is relatively close by. Does have the Aether Lens as well. There's the Telekinesis. And they actually still Arctic Burn, making things even more annoying. He has a call now. I'd love to see this. Please. Show us everything you got, Armis.
What's he gonna call? Ursa jumps him and he gets all the armor. Like, you can't kill me, I have 30 armor.
Yeah, perfect.
Huh. Maybe his other spell was running out. I don't know what was left unmarked. But...
Like, who has more impact right now? I feel like the Spectre is... I mean, the net worth is basically even between Spectre and Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend feels very reliant on getting his life off.
Is under attack.
Haunt?
As you bottom lane, yeah, Haunt. Nico Baby is all alone. Nobody's even remotely close to him. Did require a Roar and a Necro 3, but they will be mega happy with that.
It's not looking good for Alliance this game. It's really not. There's not much going their way. They haven't been able to take much initiative. The lanes, they went okay, but not well enough. And yeah, right now in terms of net worth, Spectre's net worth is just worth more than Shadow Fiend's for the most part. Like, think of it this way. Shadow Fiend's net worth is effective in one type of fight and that type of fight alone. And that requires the entire team to be around and set it up. Spectre's net worth is effective for everything. It's effective for split pushing. It's effective for joining fights. It's effective for being tanky. You know, like... And he's everywhere at once when he has ulti ready. So it's just way more freedom. And then there's the whole scalability of the hero in essence, like just itself versus Shadow Fiend scalability, right? Like Spectre just scales better.
Anytime soon.
It just scales better.
He will be going Manta like he predicted. After that, it kind of opens up, I feel like. Anything on... I don't know if the game's going to go that long, but what would your next item after Manta be?
With how Shadow Fiend is itemizing, maybe Butterfly? He's playing against two cores that are going physical builds, right? So it's very high value. If not Butter, he could go for maybe... Abyssal is okay. I kind of like Butter more than Abyssal though. So it would either be...
We never even talked about Nico Baby's item build, by the way. He did not go Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he went Deso, but they haven't used it. Alliance seem a little bit unguided in the game because they're pressured all the time. Yeah, it's the one thing that has worked for them so far in this game, so they gotta try to come back to that and see if they can get an Aegis cheese and maybe do something with it. Their first Aegis ended up wasted. It did nothing. So they have to try to get the secondary Roche and force a Shadow Fiend type fight around it. Ideally for them in the pit. But once again, imagine being in Alliance's position in the game right now. You're playing super positioning based heroes like Axe, Wyvern, and Enigma against Haunt and Hawk. It's just so difficult to know where you're going. I feel like smoke is your only friend right now.
Viking's the one that smokes here. They know Roshan is up because of the Hawks, and I believe a courier was also scouting it for Alliance. I believe
they saw the smoke. Their Hawk saw it. This can end really, really badly for Alliance. They gotta be so careful.
Off. Toby does have the roar, but he is super tanky. Necro 3 and Greaves. Looks like he lifts up the axe into the Grim ult. Shadow Fiend
double roar.
Gets off his first Requiem, but yeah, the double roar comes in tow. And FNG already extremely low. Can't even get off his black hole at all right now. And looks like he will just spill immediately. So the first casualty, there's the Winter's Curse. Ember Spirit taking a lot of damage. Limit finally able to get off a Requiem of Souls, but Boom will just walk away.
He almost left it because he's stopping.
He gets chased. He's going to turn things onto Boom, but there's the Yule's counter again. A 4-for-1, make it a team wipe. And all they lose is Rubik, not even remotely close these fights. And now
Shannon, it happened. It happened. It almost. The Rubik almost survived Ursa because he still It actually happened. He just barely died because he got so much armor that he could tank Ursa for quite a while. But yeah, that's just the problem right there, right? It's the issue in a nutshell. If Viking know what's coming, it's relatively easy for them to position themselves properly. They can bait out their tanky Beastmaster, like you said. He gets immediately glimmered by Celery, so he won't die. And then the Haunt comes in, and the whole fight just breaks up. Like, Alliance... Enigma can't play this game right now. Like, what's he supposed to do? He gets haunted, Spectre jumps on him. He can either black hole a Spectre and it won't matter, or he can die. Both options are terrible.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose. Doubt about it. 13k net worth lead for Viking. I don't think this is gone anytime. Yeah, looking pretty good. I mean, the one thing that Alliance does have going for them is they have very good team fight when their ults are up. But of course, they always have to worry about this Rubik. Like, you can just... Like, FNG has been... Not him as a player. This hero has been utterly useless this game. It just feels completely worthless.
Yeah, it felt like it was its laning stage, and that's kind of it. And obviously Alliance gave away Beastmaster willingly, so this was their response plan as a strategy overall. It has just not worked. There's not much to say. It's just not worked.
I mean, I can see it definitely working if there's no right. That's why you always see an Enchantress Beastmaster. But Enigma taken out again. Not really worth that much at this point, but they'll take the kill. Boom is the one with the cheese right now, by the way. He's actually going full minus armor, so Deso into AC. So both teams actually have a lot of minus armor. Both the Ursa with the Deso and of course Shadow Fiend's passive.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Enigma up in 15 seconds, still has his black hole. Right? I think at this stage it just has to be on the Rubik, and then you just can't get stunned or silenced. There's the initiation, Grimstroke double, Beastmaster roar again. Lynn will actually get... I actually can't tell if that was a Death Requiem.
He got it off.
He got it off, so that was a double
died
Requiem
in the same second.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Not really doing that much other than mitigating a little bit of damage here, and will likely be the GG push, but you never know. Wow, look at that lift range. Jesus, that's so insane. FNG blown up. Chat still has the Aegis, so not too worried about this. Buybacks for 2 heroes on Alliance now. Liquipedia is already expended in Rage. Might have to go back and heal as a result. Shad will just finish off this tower at the very least. If they end up continuing this. Winter's Curse onto Ember alone. Nobody was near him. Really good position from Vikings. Wasted, big ulti wasted. And Enigma, that is a dieback. Didn't even get to use Black Hole. Things are just getting worse and worse for Alliance as they are crumbling in this game too. We were expecting 3 games, especially after that game 1, but this has been all Viking, for sure.
If you asked me before the series if it was a 2-0 who I thought was 2-0, I would have said Viking, and they look so good against Secret. It's no coincidence that they're looking good today as well. This team is playing sick Dota right now, and
they've been here so long. Grim's ult is up again.
double roar.
And a double roar again. Are you serious? I didn't even realize the was on for that close.
Yet.
Yeah, they're just showing off right now. Alright, I need to look at the cooldowns here. Let's see. So Soulbind is 75 seconds at level 2. Beastmaster is level 3, so it's 70 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. They have the Roche taking capabilities, even more minus armor now for Viking, that Orb of Destruction. But just, it's hard to fight to this Rubik. Rubik was such... How late was Rubik picked?
Second pick.
Okay, so it wasn't like a super late.
First pick Beastmaster, then it was Enigma Wyvern, and then it was Rubik. There's the Haunt. This could be the last fight. He has to find Gold. He has to find
Black
Wood.
Hole.
Oh my god.
He gets it off for a little bit, but the damage has already been done. It's a 2 for nothing. And a stolen Black Hole onto the Shadow Friend. And that is going to be 4 dead in favor of Viking as GG. Finally.
GG. Wrong.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, Spectre's voice line is wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a mega stomp.
That was a trashing. I feel like, again, my conclusion on this series, Viking plays really good Dota right now. Alliance are not playing their hottest, and I think Alliance's drafts are too complicated to execute. It's really hard. The things that need to happen are difficult to do, and Viking just playing some super strong meta picks right now and executing it very well. They're super good. I think this team has a good shot in this tournament at making top 3, if not even the grand finals, if they keep playing like this. Like they look super good to me. Very nice. Yeah, and that's because, I mean, their group had, you know, Nigma and Secret, right? And they lost 2-0 to Secret in 2 pretty close games, especially the second one, and they lost 2-1 to Nigma. So they didn't like get walked over. It's just